Welcome to the Florida-Kentucky preview. We're going to start out looking at last week's tape between Kentucky and Alabama, just to kind of give us an idea of how we compare to what Alabama did. By the end of the game, we'll kind of know if we're on Alabama's level or not. Also, it gives us a look at what Kentucky is good at. Then we're going to kind of move on to some other common opponents, Ole Miss and Vandy. So we're picking up the action here with 12:33 to go in the first quarter. Mark Stoops is one of those coaches. Kentucky may be 3-5, but Mark Stoops has always played Florida well. Kind of similar to Vanderbilt. They always give us their best shot. And this is a team that's down and out. They may be gassed. They may be done for the rest of the year. That's very possible. In fact, last week, AJ Rose, I believe is how you say his name. I'm just going to call him AJ Rose. He posted on Twitter, I believe, about how bad their play calls were in the red zone. And they're just falling apart. It's never good when a player puts your coach on blast like that. I'm sure he's going to see some kind of repercussions. But nowadays, players just think it's okay to do that. It's been a crazy 2020, and all of a sudden now you got players that just don't respect authority anymore. And these guys are just falling apart. So I'll be curious to see do we get that team that's just dead in the water, or are we going to get a rejuvenated Kentucky that gets up to play for Florida? They got nothing to lose. Florida's got everything to lose. So that's something there they might have to feed on. But we'll see. Mac Jones had a field day. Really just the Alabama offense in general. Had a great day against Kentucky. This will kind of give us something to look at and compare to Alabama. As of right now, I don't really see us competing with Alabama simply because of our defense. They only allowed Kentucky 3 points this game. Kentucky is averaging 122 yards passing a game. So that's really going to be the tell-all, if you ask me. Florida, more than likely, with our secondary the way it is, if we let them come out here and throw for 300 yards, fans should be pissed and should have a right to want to get rid of Grantham after this game. We're past the midway point of the season. Things should be getting better, not getting worse. And a very poor passing team should not be throwing the ball on Florida. However, Terry Wilson usually has his best game of the season against Florida, to no surprise. In 2018, he rushed for over 100 yards on us. Florida struggles with those types of QBs. Benny Snell also had a huge day that day, rushed for 175 yards, and we aren't that great at defending the run this year either. We're starting to get pressure on QBs, however. Our D-line seems to be coming together. It's just that secondary that's iffy. Here we are against Ole Miss, a common opponent. Ole Miss they got a similar offense as we do. That's why I put this tape on here. They were able to move the ball pretty well against Kentucky. I don't see us having an issue in that department either. The big question mark is, of course, on defense. And Kentucky's strength really is the running game again this season. They don't wow you in any particular category, but they are definitely strong in the run game. And it doesn't hurt that Terry Wilson is a scrambler as well. Chris Rodriguez, in fact, is leading the SEC in rushing yards per attempt with 6.4. And their second running back, who gets quite a lot of toast as well, Aussie Rose, or what did I say his name was? I call him AJ Rose. 5.5 yards per attempt. He's at 6th in the league. So they got two really good backs here. Florida does not have anybody on that list. Advantage Kentucky. There you see that right there, just powering his way into the end zone. That's going to be the big question mark. Can Florida just load the box up, make them throw to beat us? If we do that well, I think we avoid any type of upset. They can't count Terry out with his arm either. He's facing a lot of criticism this year. He is not a bad passer. He's just having a rough patch. For whatever the reason, like I said, he definitely throws the ball well against Florida. In the rushing TD category, Chris Rodriguez is 5th in that department with 6 rushing TDs so far this year. And Terry Wilson is tied for 10th in the league with 4. As far as Florida's offense goes, you see right there, pass to the tight end. You're probably going to see a lot of that this week. Injury report right quick. Kyle Pitts will be returning to action this week, as will James Houston. They are both set to return. Florida has scored 35-plus points in 9 consecutive games, breaking a school record. We are the only school, the only FBS team with 3 players that have at least 6 touchdowns this year. And we're the only FBS team with 5 players with 3 or more TD receptions. This game's going to be televised on ESPN 12 o'clock. I forgot to mention that. Most of our games have been at noon this year. On a bright note, Kyrie Campbell was named the co-SEC D Lineman of the Week last week against Vanderbilt. He had a team-high 9 tackles. It's great to see him performing. Ever since he came back, our defense has made a step in the right direction. This week I'm looking to see how the secondary responds. Are we going to keep giving the amount of cushion that we're giving on 3rd down, especially in the slot position, as I mentioned in my last video, the post game against Vandy? In the slot, we give like a 10-yard, 8-yard cushion, and they just get slants all day long. It's very disappointing to see that on a regular basis. That's got to change. At least close that gap a little bit. You don't have to play tight man press coverage, but just close that gap a little bit. Maybe bump the receiver off the ball and just have some safety help over the top. You shouldn't be worried so bad to get beat deep. But then again, that's kind of how it is. We have been getting beat deep in pretty much every game. So I guess they're willing to give up short play and the 1st down just so they don't give up a huge play. I'd like to see a lot of improvement in that category though. Look at that wide open in between the zone. Kentucky may come in here playing a lot of zone. I don't know if they have the athletes to hang with all the Florida receivers. So I'll be definitely watching for that, see how they scheme up on defense. Mark Stoops is a defensive guru. He's not going to lay down. I expect he's got something up his sleeve. It could be similar to Vanderbilt, where it's a slow start for Florida until we kind of figure out what they're doing. But if we have any chance of beating Alabama, we got to get off to faster starts. And like I said, we'll see how well our defense performs this week. Is Kentucky that bad, or are we going to let Kentucky score about 3 to 10 in that range? If Florida only allows 3 to 10 points against Kentucky, I say we can compete with Alabama, and it will be a toss-up on who wins that game. I just don't see that happening. I could be wrong. So keep that in mind when you're watching the game Saturday. And if you remember 2019, last season, that's the game where Franks went down. We had a bad first half. Franks went down. Trask had to come into action, and he literally brought us back, put the team on his shoulders and brought us back to win that game. That's when all this hype started building around Trask. And I personally thought Trask was a better QB. Starting from the 2018 year, I was wondering why the coaches weren't giving him the looks. Everybody was saying, oh, well, they see him in practice. They know what they have. I just wasn't buying it. I don't know what it is. If it's politics or whatnot, but even McElwain, they just kept going with Franks over everybody else. It didn't really make too much sense. Franks, I'm not knocking the guy, but Franks is not the answer. I'm glad to see Franks having a good season, though. On some other news, Florida is up to 20th in the country in sacks. Huge turnaround. I don't think we had any sacks against Ole Miss. I could be wrong, but I'll take it. 20th in sacks. The completion percentage in the SEC, Kyle Trask ranks 3rd out of the 14 teams, and Terry Wilson is at the 8th spot. Like I said, he has been struggling, so he's not no Drew Brees, but he's a very serviceable QB. We cannot sleep on Kentucky. I don't expect we will after the performance we had against Vandy. I imagine that was enough to get everybody's attention back right. Offensively, Kadarius Toney is 6th in the league in receptions with 42 receptions. Kentucky has Josh Ali at 10th with 37 receptions. Look at this. Oof. That's that run game. That's what scares me the most. That's Kavosiey Smoke. Last year, I believe Smoke was the starter. So that's how you know Chris Rodriguez is the real deal. He came in and just took Smoke's job from him. Kentucky's got 12 rushing TDs on the year. It's clearly their strength. I can't harp that enough. Only 6 passing touchdowns. That seems very, very small when you compare that to Trask. But that's just not their bread and butter. They are a ground and pound for sure. Their third down percentage is 41%. Not too shabby. And as you see here, as the score stands right now, 31-14. And in fact, 31-14, they're not doing all that much worse than Florida was doing against Vanderbilt. They're about on the same level at this point in time. Vandy does make it close. They do have a decent field goal kicker as well. They kick a lot of field goals and field goal attempts. Florida's ranked, or Evan McPherson for Florida is ranked 7th in the league with 10 attempts. They're not far behind at 9th. Their kicker Matt Ruffalo with 8 field goals made. Evan McPherson, however, is 3rd with 9. Matt Ruffalo is 9th with 6 field goals made. I anticipate that might be the case this week. Our defense gives up big plays. We'll probably let them get down there into the red zone, squeeze down on them, and they'll end up kicking some field goals. That's not going to be enough to keep up with Florida, however. So I feel like our defense is going to do a lot of bending, but not breaking. Quite possibly have a lot of field goal attempts. And that's pretty much all I got on Kentucky. It's going to be a pretty easy, straightforward video this week. I'm excited to get on here after the post game though and see how it went. Probably be another rant on the defense. Probably be bitching on Howard defense, and they need to fire Todd Grantham. I haven't quite been on that wagon yet. I haven't said we need to fire Grantham. I do think we need to evaluate him, and I think this is a big evaluation game for Todd Grantham, quite honestly. I'm going to go ahead and put out my score prediction, and then I'm just going to hop off here and let you guys watch the rest of the tape. Actually, there's only a couple minutes left. Not even that. I think Florida's going to have a great day on offense. I think we're going to put up 52. I'm going to go Florida 52, the University of Kentucky 21.